and show it. Tell me what you feel in your heart and your soul. There's nothing I would take for granted. With me we'll make it through. Takes two hearts to fix heartbreak. We grew apart, I made a mistake, but I'll try to make it up to you, my darling. Ooh,
I wanna be a real one day. Heaven leaves me up from under. Wishing I could be somehow stronger now,
so I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me. Wish that I could be stronger, so I can be a real one day. So I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me. Wish that I could be stronger, so I can be a real one day.
sweet goodbyes. I won't cry,
Yeah.
Change, can you say so? Never mind, I forgot where I came from. Like wolves in the darkness, we've adapted to blindness. Fall asleep with the sirens out. There's blood on my hands. Somebody save me from myself. I'm off of the meds and it might get hideous. Why so serious? Run for your life, cause it might get hideous. Why so serious?
up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. And I end up alone, I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're
Pump up the bass line. Pump up the pump the
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take?
Alrighty, there we go. You'll be able to hear me now. Welcome everyone again to another look at this Victoria University stigma study that's going into the attraction to, well, minors. This will be the end of it. I've got the last two modules plus the final survey. For those who didn't know, it's a 4-module study which is looking at people who have a negative stigma towards creeps, and they're trying to change how you actually view these people, from you not liking them to having some sympathy, trying to normalize them, trying to treat them or look at them the exact same way as you might a homosexual, because apparently those are comparable. They're the same thing. Liking dudes, liking boys, same thing apparently. So that's what this is. They start off with a survey, which I did in the very first time I did this. This is the third live stream. And so yes, they started off with a survey. They give you 4 educational modules to try and change your mind, and then they give you 1 final survey. And depending on time, I've also got a couple of articles to go into as well. And for the very first time, I've managed to integrate TikTok to my YouTube and X live streams as well. So hopefully that might do something for engagement, if nothing else, but also allows me to stream to all those platforms. I do realize the last time I streamed, I did about 2.5 hours or something like that, or just over 2 hours on X and YouTube. And then I went over and did about 4 hours on TikTok, because boy, does that engagement get me going. But you know, with that aside, we very much need to get into this module. And if you do want to see the other modules, they are over on YouTube and X. YouTube is probably the easier place to find them, and they'll be titled, the thumbnail and so forth, alluding to Victoria University, and so it'll be quite clear there. But last time we were introduced to the guy named Joe, and also a couple of other people that may indeed pop up, such as Sam and Rick. Now, Joe, Sam, and Rick are all reasonably normal people, apart from Sam, who does think they're a they, them, doesn't know what they are. That's about the only thing that is a little bit undistinguishable. But, you know, with that all being said, Joe, Sam, and Rick are being portrayed as relatively normal people, but it seems that we might be learning something about them in the coming modules that might give us pause for concern. But bear with me just a moment. I just need to check a couple of settings are a-okay, and I believe they are. No problem. Do feel free to leave a message in the chat. I will get to it when it's appropriate and so forth. Do not be shy at all. So yes, perceptions towards people with an S attraction to children study module 3. Now that I have integrated TikTok, I do need to be slightly more careful with what I say. That's just the unfortunate reality of TikTok, but only on subjects such as this. When I get into the subjects that I really enjoy covering, such as the treaty and so forth, that's no holds barred for a second. But these ones are a little bit more sketchy with TikTok, so bear with me, everybody. Just like anyone else, Joe, Sam, and Rick all have their own personal stresses and life challenges. Joe has been struggling with anxiety since he was a teenager. He feels the weight of his worries on his chest, is concerned about how others will see him and whether he meets others' expectations. This has become more apparent for Joe recently, as he's become more interested in preparing and barbecuing meats. What a legend. True man of my heart. He started to wonder about training to be a chef. However, he's a bit nervous about taking that step and failing. He's also worried that his friends and brothers won't think being a chef is as masculine as being a butcher, and he doesn't want them to think differently about him because of it. Here's Sam, the they-them that doesn't know who he is. Sam is worried that their flatmates think badly of them, as Sam always seems to have new sexual partners over at the flat recently. Oh wow. Notice how their flatmates look at each other when Sam gets home early in the morning or shows yet another person where the bathroom is and doesn't want their sex life to change. Their flatmates and friends' opinions of them. Well, Sam, if you're worried about that, perhaps stop having so many random partners around. At least from what we can see so far, at least those partners are of age. Rick has been feeling pretty down ever since he and his ex-wife separated. While separating was the right thing to do, Rick is concerned that his daughter doesn't love him anymore, as he was the one who initiated the separation. Though Rick has enjoyed looking after and keeping his mum company after his dad's death, she keeps bringing up Rick's daughter and how she'd like to see her more, and it's making Rick feel worse. Now, the final module will talk more about challenges that Joe, Sam, and Rick face. Now, something you may have noticed so far is they've made absolutely no mention of stigma towards the sorts of attraction in question. That's because they try to lay the groundwork of normalizing these individuals, trying to get you to sympathize with these people and view them as exactly the same as everyone else, and that no matter what you discover about them, that being prejudiced or having some stigma towards what we may discover about them is somehow irrational. It's not fair, and we are the problem, not them. In this module, we discuss stigma towards people who have a sexual attraction to children and the effect of stigma. People with this attraction face a great deal of stigma, as people often think that having a sexual attraction to kids means that someone will sexually abuse a child, and that having the attraction is a controllable choice. They may experience both public stigma and self-stigmatization. Now, I just wanted to go over and check TikTok because I'm very aware of the concerns. Now, what TikTok has gone and done is they've restricted the visibility of my live for recommending because it violates the fake engagement policy under our community guidelines. Now, it's quite clearly not me engaging fakely. This is all live, and that's the main issue, and it's not me taking other people's content. This is not something that is being used for content creation purposes. However, I am indeed sharing with you all of this stuff, and the fact that this is a problem to TikTok is deeply concerning to me. Now, I'm not sure if calling it what they are, which is, fake engagement, is an accurate description at all. I certainly wouldn't think so. But it may mean that we'll either have no viewers or very few viewers throughout over on TikTok. That is absolutely fine. There is not much I can do that. I will say that the other day when I came on TikTok and did that 4-hour stream, I had absolutely no issues of this sort reading through articles. So why this has been pinged is I'm completely unsure why specifically it has been pinged. But I do see that in total over on TikTok up to this point I've had 19 viewers. What the current number all at once is, I'm not sure, given I've never tried to keep track of it through this medium before. But we will just ignore all of that for now. If it does well, it does well. If not, please, again, feel free to leave comments, be that you on TikTok, X, or YouTube. It all very much helps to give us additional things, additional insights that may not come up specifically on the modules and the surveys and articles, etc. But I think we get the gist of. Now we're getting into the grips of what these types of attractions mean, and that it's, as long as they're not acting on these attractions, we're supposed to think it's completely fine. Public stigma is when the public hold negative attitudes and discriminate against those who are different. This taints and devalues those who belong to or identify with that group. So yes, this is very much just another marginalized group. Self-stigma is a consequence of public stigma. Those in the stigmatized group expect to be stigmatized, view themselves negatively, feel guilt and shame, fuck 'em are, avoid seeking help to hide that they are different and belong to the stigmatized group. So, what they're trying to do here is saying, if you don't like people who are attracted to children, then you are stigmatizing them much like you would any other marginalized group, and that's not fair. But additionally to that, you're making them feel bad about themselves, and because you're making them feel bad about themselves, you're a bad person. Public and self-stigma can lead to and amplify mental health struggles for many people with said attraction, including experiences like depression and anxiety, loneliness and isolation, feelings of guilt and shame, and low self-esteem. The impact of stigma may be wider than just those who are stigmatized. Research on stigma and its effects on people with a sexual attraction implies that there may be links between the impact of stigma and an increased risk of sexual offending. The effects of stigma, such as isolation, loneliness, and fear of negative reactions from others, is a barrier for many with said attraction in managing their well-being. It can prevent them from telling people in their lives about these attractions and from seeking help when they really need it, either for mental health purposes or for concerns about acting on their attraction and offending. So I think what's important here is they're trying to make out, as the people responsible for the study, as if their intention here is purely to try and reduce the amount of offending, reduce the amount of people who feel like they can't speak up about having these feelings, whilst at the same time telling you you're the bad guy. So essentially, if you are stigmatizing these people, if you have a negative feeling towards these people, it's your fault that children are being abused. That's the whole thing. It's just blatant gaslighting, when in reality what they are trying to do is normalize it, whilst trying to put in little arguments of, we're not actually trying to normalize it, we just think it's best for the children. They're absolutely full of shit. They're evil. That's just how it is. Alongside difficulties with help seeking, the available support is lacking. While there are some support services for people with an attraction to children, many in that community feel that there's not enough support available. The services that are available also may not meet people's needs. Those with the attraction have found that many services internationally tend to focus more on risk reduction and managing the attraction rather than on helping people with their personal lives and mental health concerns, especially in dealing with the effects of stigma. So international services tend to focus more on reducing their risk than dealing with how they feel about people not liking them because they are creeps. Okay. So again, it's bad to be trying to actually reduce the attraction and preventing them from acting on the attraction. What we should be doing is sympathizing with these people and saying, "Oh, it's okay. We understand there's some mean people. You're completely normal. Don't worry." There are also concerns that seeking support will lead to those with this attraction being stigmatized further by professionals or lead to police involvement, even if they haven't offended and have no plans to. Oh. Again, they're just making out like these people here are the victims. Everyone that has an issue with their way of thinking are the bad guys. Absolutely no accountability to be seen. In New Zealand, prevention services such as Stop and Well Stop have been trained in a recently developed framework by a team of New Zealand researchers and psychologists. This aims to support clients with a sexual attraction in living meaningful lives and managing stigma. So it's about, we understand. We understand that you're attracted to people you should not be attracted to, but allow us to help you lead a meaningful life and manage the poor, mean people who don't have such a sick way of seeing things. Whatever. Honestly. While stigma towards this attraction may prevent the attraction from being normalized and emphasizes society's intolerance towards the abuse, it is often fueled by misunderstandings of the attraction. Yes, it's all a misunderstanding. Like that it's an active choice, or that everyone with attraction will sexually abuse a child sooner or later. Here's the thing that they ignore. People, humans, typically have lustful feelings. You'll never go through your life without having the feeling of lust. Now, something that you may not realize is lust is a feeling that you can control. It's a feeling that you can actually push to the side, ignore entirely. It's actually something that you can prevent yourself from feeling if you really try hard enough. Now, it's extremely difficult. The likelihood of you preventing yourself from feeling lust at all is very low unless you have the will of a saint. Nonetheless, it's more than possible. If let's say me, right? I'm 24-year-olds. Let's say, generally speaking, I'm attracted to women in their mid-20s. It's because I choose to have lustful thoughts that I'll have lustful thoughts. If I go about my day actively working on not having such thoughts, they will reduce. I will not have them to the same extent. I'll be able to function with the appropriate head more often. It is a choice in many respects. I can't deal with the fact that I'm attracted to 20, 24, 25-year-old women. No. But that's the fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. I do not need to sit here and dwell on it. It doesn't need to impact me in any way. But here's the thing. Those with this sort of attraction to people that they should not be having these attractions to, it's unnatural. And even if you want to argue it's not unnatural, they make a big hurrah out of it. As if somehow you are being stigmatized because everyone knows. Unless people know you're not being stigmatized is what I'm trying to say. Now, unless this is of a far more serious nature where it's borderline compulsive or obsessive, the likelihood of anyone ever knowing what exactly you're attracted to is slim to none. So therefore, the whole reason we're doing a study on stigma makes absolutely no sense to me. Because absolutely everyone that actually have these sorts of feelings know deep down, whether they admit it or not, that it's wrong. But they like to feed it. They like to feed it. Some people will get a kick out of it. There is a reason why some people commit crimes, for example. They get a kick out of doing something they know they're not supposed to. Very much antisocial. And this is absolutely no different as far as I'm concerned. There's a reason why only a minority of people think this way. Because it isn't natural. It isn't something that's the norm. But that's exactly what this study, both in this and in previous modules, are trying to tell you. That this is completely natural. That it's normal. It's comparable to being a homosexual. Comparable. It is not. That is a complete load of tosh. But they'll have you believe it anyway because they're academia and they have a monopoly on truth. Now, I'm sorry. I am sorry. But if people not liking the fact that you have this unnatural, disgusting attraction is so much that it's going to increase your likelihood of offending and prevent you from seeking support if you think it's, if you find the means to do so, then you are an extremely weak-minded person and absolutely no one can help you. Absolutely no one can help you. You are a coward. Yeah, rant over. Myths like these mean that those with the attraction will face stigma for something that they did not choose and for abusive actions that they have not committed and may never commit. Alongside this, the negative consequences of stigma far outweigh any benefits, particularly when considering the effect it may have on offending. Increasing awareness and educating people about such attractions may help to reduce stigma and the taboo of the topic, which will ideally encourage help seeking and improve the available support. These changes may help to reduce harm for everyone involved and ultimately improve people's well-being. In other words, they're lying through their teeth. Let's go over that again. Alongside this, the negative consequences of stigma far outweigh any benefits, particularly when considering the effect it may have on offending. Increasing awareness and educating people about such attractions may help to reduce stigma and the taboo of the topic. May help to reduce stigma and the taboo of the topic. Educating people is the means to achieve that. Educating people will reduce stigma and the taboo of the topic. We should not be reducing the taboo of the topic. You can make an argument for stigma as they have, but reducing the taboo, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It should not be a topic that we feel comfortable talking about. It should not be a topic that we accept. It should just be a commonplace acceptance that such views are disgusting, that people with them should indeed seek help. But we're not going to sit here and treat them all lovey-dovey and sympathize with them. It's ridiculous. And this will ideally encourage help seeking and improve the available support. If you want to provide a means for support for these people, you can do so. No one is going to stop you. No one is going to stop you. This is one such example, except in this fact it's an insult because they're trying to tell you that you're the bad guy. These changes may help to reduce harm for everyone involved and ultimately improve people's well-being. Appeal to emotion fallacy, piss off. Let's move on. It's important that we address the negative impacts of stigma. Ignoring the issue will not help to prevent abuse. And making people feel comfortable about thinking this way is not going to help prevent abuse either. Let's be real. Just a moment. Thank you to the 2 people who actually have seen this since I gave you that update on TikTok. Of course, other people elsewhere are doing a fantastic job currently with 49 of you. Do feel free once again to leave a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say about what we've seen so far. So this is the end of the Module 3 quiz, which is what they do. Which of the following are barriers to people with such an attraction accessing support services? Concerns that their health insurance companies will be informed. Concerns that the healthcare professional will think that they're a risk to children and tell the police. Concerns that the healthcare professional will gossip about them. Concerns that the healthcare professional won't be able to help. And concerns that people they know will find out. Honestly, I've actually got no interest in answering these anymore. We'll just read what they are. Public stigma is, well, self-stigma is when someone is stigmatized in a public place, when the general public holds stigmatizing views. So again, this is, we're the bad guy. The public's the bad guy. Self-stigma, when someone internalizes and believes the stigma they face from others. The act of stigmatizing someone else, when someone calls you out for being stigmatizing to others. And again, we're the bad guys because we make them feel bad about themselves. Absolute gaslighting. Oh, continue without answering? Yes, we'll continue without answering. Thank you very much. Please continue to record your participation. 40% because I refuse to answer the top one. Oh, wow. I'm not going to click all of those because I don't care. Thank you very much. If you want to opt out of the study, click here. No, I've got all of them anyway. Plus, I want the Prezi card. Give me the Prezi card. Module 4, we're back to looking at Joe, Sam, and Rick. What I'm wondering is, are we going to find out whether Joe, Sam, and Rick actually have such an attraction, or are they just using this as a weird means to get you comfortable? I can't say I'm entirely sure at this point. Cannot say I'm entirely sure at all. Nonetheless, let's get into it. Joe, Sam, and Rick, just regular people. They have far no friends, hobbies and dreams and personal struggles. They also have something in common. Oh, it's right there. They all have an attraction to kids. Who didn't see that coming? They warmed us up for 2 modules straight to get us to like these guys. Like Joe here, he likes barbecuing steaks. That's something I resonate with. That's something I resonate with. It doesn't seem I can resonate with this, though. Joe realized that he's gay when he was 13. But as he grew older, he noticed the boys he was attracted to stayed around 12 to 14 years old. Even if he was attracted to men his age, he doesn't know if he'd be able to tell anyone, as he doesn't know how they would react. Well, Joe, perhaps just ignore the fact that you, for some reason, are attracted to such young people and stick to being attracted to older men. You yourself seem to have admitted that you are indeed attracted to older men as well. Joe has tried to date women his age in the past, but it's never lasted long, as he's just not interested in them like that. He's also had a boyfriend previously, and while he desperately hoped that he could make this relationship work, he realised he also wasn't interested in men his age either. I suppose 12 to 14-year-old Fortnite lads are far more relatable, aren't they, Joe? It's so much easier to have a conversation with them about deep and meaningful things, as you would when you're in your early 30s. Trying to hide both his sexuality and attraction is causing Joe a lot of stress and distancing him from his family and friends. Oh, boo-hoo, Joe, I feel so bad for you. Sam has been having a lot of casual sex over the past 2 years with people their own age, after realizing that they had a sexual attraction to a year-old girl they had met at their music lessons. Wild. Absolutely wild. While Sam's attracted to people their age that they've been seeing, they feel they need to improve themselves or prove to themselves that they're not attracted to young. Well, see, he's got the right mindset here, and I'm going to call him a he because look at him. He's got some, feminine features, but it's definitely a bloke. They're not attracted. They feel they need to prove to themselves, or him to himself, that he's not attracted. Good. That's the right mindset. You need to prove to yourself that you're not. It is a disgusting perversion of who you are. It's not who you are. After meeting the girl, Sam quit music lessons and began feeling very stressed. He began feeling very stressed out when they were around children, so now avoids going to places where children will be. Well, look, you're doing the right things. You're distancing yourself from temptation. You're understanding what your triggers are. And with time, if you keep doing that and you do seek some help from perhaps someone that you're able to discuss this with, then hopefully you'll just grow out of it like a good lad. Rick and his ex-wife separated when Rick realized the effect that hiding a big secret from his wife was having on their relationship and, by extension, their daughter. The fact that Rick has an attraction to young girls. While Rick always knew that he would never be attracted to his daughter, he is also always worried that if his wife knew his secret, she wouldn't be able to fully trust him. As his daughter grew older, Rick distanced himself from her and his wife to avoid going to school events and other places with children, and eventually decided that separating from his wife and living apart from them would be the easiest way to keep his attraction a secret. He would rather see his daughter only twice a month than have her learn his secret and never see her again. People with such an attraction can be anyone. They can be people in your community, your work, even friends and family. They can be people like Joe, or Sam, or Rick, and they can be struggling with their attraction and how it's affected other parts of their lives. These are everyday people who deserve understanding, access to help and support, and deserve to live their lives without fear of stigmatization for something they cannot control and can choose not to act on. So, what we've got up to this point is they've spent several modules trying to get us accustomed to who Joe, Sam, and Rick are. They're very normal people, apart from the fact that Sam doesn't know what he is, thinks he's a they, them, probably an attention seeker, doesn't have any problem getting sexual partners, but they all have a dirty secret, and that's that they're attracted to people they should not be attracted to. In this case, that, right? They're attracted to that. And we're supposed to feel sorry for them. That we're supposed to feel sorry that their life is complicated by this. I'm sorry, I do not feel sorry for them. Those who are making the right steps, keeping themselves distant so they're not triggered or they're not tempted, Great, that's what you do need to do in such situations. That doesn't excuse the fact you have them, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that people should reduce their stigma or their animosity or their disgust at this type of thinking. I'm not going to sit here for a second and say that that is what should happen. That we should be bullied into doing that. That we should be told that we're the bad guys, gaslighted into thinking we are the people causing more abuse and more of this stuff because these people don't feel comfortable coming out. You don't feel comfortable coming out because you know it's bad. And as long as you know it's bad, you can suck it up and deal with it and put your plan in place to get over it. Move away from it. It is not impossible for someone with repetitive, intrusive thoughts to get rid of those repetitive, intrusive thoughts. It's not impossible. More than possible. You just have to have the willingness to do it. You have to have the willpower to succeed. And if you do need to lean on extra support, well, isn't it good that there do appear to be some organizations that do that? But do not be tempted into getting support from an organization who wants to actually make what you feel the norm and accepted, because that's not going to help you. That's going to mean that you feel like it's less of a bad thing. And that means you're not going to have the same drive to make the changes needed to push that sort of thinking in the rearview mirror. In this module, we discuss how myths and stereotypes can be challenged. Again, all myths and stereotypes by the people that are stigmatizing them, no doubt. As Module 3 discussed, the stigma surrounding such an attraction can make it much harder for people with this attraction to seek help and support from family, friends, and professionals. Education on this topic, like challenging myths and stereotypes about the attraction and those who experience it, can reduce these misunderstandings. This can help to create an environment where help seeking is easier, whether for mental health struggles or for managing a sexual attraction. Because of the stigma and taboo surrounding the attraction, it can be hard to discuss the topic without feeling like you need to agree with stereotypes and stigmatizing myths, especially if you don't know a whole lot about it or are worried that you may be judged for your views. Again, if you want to feed into the stereotypes and stigmatizing myths, then you are just uneducated. The module will give you some ideas for how to engage in conversations with other adults about the people who have such an attraction and how to challenge myths and stereotypes. Become a warrior for standing up for pedophiles now. Essentially what they're asking. Very quickly, just bear with me, people. Bear with me. All right. Before engaging, yeah. Is that where we're at? Just want to double check. That's where we're at. Yes, it is where we're at. Good. Before engaging in conversations about such an attraction, try to consider how others you're talking with might react. It can be a sensitive topic for various reasons. For example, due to the association with abuse, so it's understandable that some people may not feel comfortable talking about it, which is why I like to skip over many other words because it just isn't a comfortable topic, is it? And it should stay that way. The taboo of this topic is very much something that needs to remain. And anyone working towards removing that taboo is, quite frankly, not a friend of children. If you're going to start a conversation about such abuse, make sure those you're talking to are comfortable with being part of that conversation. Be aware that there's always a chance that such offending will become part of the discussion, and this can be upsetting for many people, especially for survivors with a history of this abuse. It's also good to think about how open-minded the people you're talking to are. People can react in surprising ways when they're discussing such an attraction, such as accusing those with non-stigmatizing viewpoints of experiencing the attraction themselves, or of trying to normalize the attraction or minimize child abuse. Forgive me, for I have sinned. How dare I suggest that those with non-stigmatizing viewpoints or trying to normalize the attraction may indeed have the attraction themselves? How dare I suggest such a thing? How dare I? Because for me personally, and many people that, from what I've seen discussing this topic, it doesn't seem that being able to have a non-stigmatizing view makes much sense. It doesn't seem to us that normalizing it is actually possible without making us sick to our stomachs. So surely there has to be some sort of sympathy or understanding there that goes far beyond of, I'm just a nice person, I don't want to be mean to people. Or let's protect the kids by making up some absolute BS about how we can reduce this sort of offending by reducing stigma. It's absolute nonsense. Think back to the other tricky conversations you've had with someone before starting a conversation about such an attraction. Were they responsive and non-judgmental about new ideas? This might indicate how open they'll be to an objective discussion. Yes, because being willing to listen to someone normalize and defend these views is the difference between whether you're open to an objective discussion or not. The objective truth here is that what these people with this study are trying to do is disgusting. That's the objective truth. Such conversations should always be safe for everyone involved. If you're unsure, it might be better to avoid the topic altogether. Who would have thought? Media is a big source of stereotypes and myth circulation. Movies, TV shows, and news articles often refer to someone who has abused a child as a, even though there's no proof that they have an attraction to such children, right? Yes, because, and I made this comparison last stream, and I said, okay, so you're telling me that someone just decides, stuff it, I'm going to do this, right? Do this to this, and I've got absolutely no attraction whatsoever to them. But if that's true, then let's say someone decides to, I don't know, do this to an animal. Would we also say that it doesn't necessarily mean they're attracted to animals? You're not going to do it unless it gets you going. That's not how the human body works. You can be as desperate as you want to have intercourse. If you're not attracted, you won't do it. Not unless you're a freak and really desperate. There's a reason why guys can go limp all of a sudden when something they find yucky. Okay? It's complete nonsense. These sorts of comments can lead to people thinking that what is a pedophile is anyone who sexually offends against a child, even though we know that's not true. Challenging these myths about people with attraction is an important step to reducing stigma and allowing those with the attraction to disclose to others and seek support. Imagine you're having a family dinner and someone brings up a news article they saw recently about someone who abused a child. Someone chimes in with the comment, why don't we lock up all of the pedophiles before they can do that? How do you respond? Here are some suggestions. I get that it seems like that could help. The media makes it sound like this is an abuse, the same thing. But did you know that not everyone with that attraction abuses children? A lot of them are pretty against it. Having that attraction doesn't mean they're going to act on it. Oh, what a wonderful way of looking at it. What a wonderful way. That's an understandable response to something so harmful. But even though the media usually talks about this when they talk about abuse, not everyone who abuses a child like them is actually attracted. Yeah, because you know that based on what exactly? I understand why you might think that. Prevention is so important before anyone is harmed. But people don't choose to have an attraction. It's not something they just decided they wanted. If we sent them all to jail, there'd be a lot of normal, everyday people there, not just people who might end up offending. I don't even want to. I don't think I need to go any further into those quotes. It's just, don't be so judgmental and jump to conclusions. Now it's your turn. Imagine you're walking through the park with friends as you're passing a playground. You see an old man watching the children playing, and a friend gives a man a dirty look and says to you, I bet he's... How do you respond? This is how you respond. You are probably right, Let's keep an eye on him for a bit. That is the correct answer. Anyone telling you it's not the correct answer is a fucking creep. No quiz for today. Just a few questions to reflect on. How would you respond if someone told you that they might be attracted to children? What are some of the situations where myths and stereotypes can be challenged? Thank you for taking part in Module 4. Please continue to record your participation. You may now close this window. Thank you very much. Now, after I do this survey, we are going to end the stream, and then I'm going to reboot the stream for two reasons. One, I want to try and keep this separate from the other topics. And two, because I want to see if they shadow ban me on TikTok, essentially. So we'll complete this, and then I'll reiterate that message again, and then restart everything. Demographics. How did you learn about this study? Victoria University of Wellington campus, advertised via a physical flyer. University of Otago campus, University of Auckland campus, University of Canterbury campus. The fact they had these flyers all over the places. Online social media is the correct answer. What is the highest degree or level of school you have completed? Well, it's technically, I haven't technically finished a degree, only I've done post-high school study, but it doesn't matter. But nothing too dramatic. Where have you previously read or heard about this? Select multiple: news, movies, social media, yeah, everything. Have you had personal contact with none that I've ever met? Yeah, so I think this is a redo of what it is. We'll see where we stand this time around. I don't think it's going to be much different. If anything, I'll be a little bit more harsh because I'm pissed off. When I think about a person with such an attraction, I feel pity, strongly disagree. I feel disgust, strongly agree. I feel anger. Again, I don't feel anger. I'm not someone that feels anger. I'm going to put neither. When I think about a person with a attraction, I feel fear. I'm trying to remember what I did last night because I don't want to give them the illusion that I feel less now, because that would, support their hypothesis. I don't remember whether I put neither or strongly disagree last time. I do think I put this because I don't really believe in being angry, but I understand people do feel anger. When I think about I feel fear, strongly disagree. People are not responsible for their preferences, but they are responsible for their behavior. I mean, I don't remember what I said last time, but it's either here or up in here. Because you are somewhat responsible, so I have to do that. The attraction does not require treatment, strongly disagree. Is not pathological. I went for, I think, neither or not last time. This time I'm going to say strongly agree. Is a mental disorder like? No, don't even try and make it comparable to schizophrenia. Piss off. Normal people with an infrequent, that's just insulting calling it infrequent. They're sick, absolutely. Someone has attraction or never sexually abuses, is not mentally ill, strongly disagree. So to be clear, it's not a mental disorder like schizophrenia, but they are mentally ill. Are dangerous for children? Of course they're dangerous. Are perverse sex? I'm just going to say that, because technically they're not, unless they have, but whatever. No strong relationship between the attraction and abuse. That's just nonsense. Of course there's a strong relationship between it. Many people never have any contact with a child. Never. I'm going to say somewhat disagree. I mean, the fact that they take steps to keep themselves away shows that they lack self-control around them. You see, I can be as attracted to a 25-year-old woman as I like, but that doesn't make me any more or less capable of behaving myself when I'm in the same room as one, because I've got self-control. Sooner or later always leads to abuse. Sooner or later, exactly. And that's why they've made it very, very clear throughout the modules that they have to take extra steps to try and keep themselves away, etc. Because they don't trust themselves. People with an attraction do not act on their attraction, deserve professional support. Neither agree nor disagree, because I don't think it should matter if you have acted on it. You do deserve professional support and help, or whatever it is that you need help with. Deserve support from their families. Again, I'm going to say the same thing. Deserve access to mental health care. Absolutely. There should be programs in New Zealand to help people manage their, of course, may reduce the risk of people with attraction impacting. Of course, it may help. People with attraction who do not act on their attraction deserve to be accepted in society. They don't deserve, no one deserves for anyone to accept them for any reason whatsoever. People with an attraction should be forced to undergo therapy. Forced. Honestly, if you're aware of it, strongly agree. And quite frankly, it's because I'm fed up with the trying to normalize it. I think last time I went neither agree nor disagree because I have a bit of issue with, compulsion of certain things. But your compulsion, there is a compulsion to do things when you have committed a crime. So when you're doing something that may lead you to commit a crime, when it's forced, you probably want to do it anyway. So I'm going to put, I'll put somewhat agree just for that little caveat there. People with attraction should experience leniency when dealing. No one should experience leniency because they have certain thoughts. Should be a website listing people with attraction. No, because no one should be doxxed. No one should be doxxed. That is a safety issue. However, I think it might go into it later. The community should be informed if a known person with these types of thoughts does enter the community. Should be chemically. No, I don't believe in such punishments for anyone for any reason, because it's just how it is. It's a moral thing. The privacy of people with such thing is more important than information and safety needs of the public. Absolutely not. Known people should be sentenced to death as deterrence. Absolutely not. Same reason for the castration. Should be preemptively taken into custody. No, you should not be taken into custody unless you have committed a crime, or you're an imminent terrorist threat with evidence. And you should be preemptively taken into custody just to deal with something very, very quickly, set some stuff in place, and then, of course, be immediately released at the most safe opportunity, right? And so that would be a very short-term thing that I would think it's acceptable to hold anyone in unless they've committed a crime. One should not condemn people with this too harshly. Strongly disagree. You can condemn people as harsh as you like for whatever the hell you want. Children should be castrated. Again, no. Life deterrence? No. Same questions again. Should be allowed to work with children? Absolutely not. Right to be informed? Absolutely, they should have the right to be informed. That you choose for yourself? Somewhat agree. There is nothing they can do about it. Somewhat disagree. Actually, strongly disagree. There's always something you can do about it. It's their own fault. Somewhat agree. People can decide whether they have an attraction. Absolutely. Some people are weak-willed, so I'll just put it at somewhat agree. But yeah. Is a disposition that you cannot do anything about. Strongly disagree. Consciously decided. Absolutely, you've consciously decided to maintain it. Unless you're taking steps to actively avoid it, then you're failing yourself and your community. I feel confident in my understanding of this and those who experience this. After this, absolutely. I feel the knowledge I have about this is accurate. Absolutely. I'd feel comfortable having a discussion about this with those who experience it. I mean, I would be fine with having a conversation with anyone about anything, to be honest. Unless they've got a vest of a certain kind strapped to them, of course. I worry that by discussing this, I will be treated negatively by others. No, because my view is one that most share. So we'll take that. Please let us know about your experience with the modules. How many modules about this did you complete? I completed 4. Did the modules challenge your views about people? Did they challenge? Sure. How so? They pissed me off. Because they weren't consistent with my beliefs. Were the modules engaging? Yes, they really got me going, didn't they? Absolutely not likely to have them with friends and family. Not necessary. Thank you very much. What more do you want to know about this? Absolutely nothing. By the way, I got a new keyboard a few weeks ago, and whilst I think it looks cool, it's got RGB lights and all that. The way it's like laid out in terms of my hand placement's just a little bit too kind of cramped. I like the keys to be a bit more spread out, slightly wider, even slightly lower. That'll be something I'll work on in the future. What was the most important thing you learned from the modules? Most important thing I learned that Rick, Sam, do I want yes, and Joe are, well, let's just be blunt, are creeps. What do you enjoy most about the modules? Sharing them with the wider New Zealand public. Was anything unclear about the modules? No. Let us know your thoughts on the modules and study as a whole. Disgusted, but pleased I completed. More information. So just to be clear on what the actual study is about, we investigated the effect of educational modules on stigma towards people with such an attraction and how effective these are in increasing knowledge about the topic. We also compared the effectiveness of having modules delivered in several sessions to a one-off delivery. That's why you either completed 4 modules about such an attraction or 1 module about attraction and 3 unrelated modules. Whatever. You get it. Would you like to provide your email address in order to enter the draw? Hey, look, I'm not going to go through all this work and not enter the draw for the Prezi card, quite frankly. And the modules has been recorded, and we will compare this with your email address to ensure you're eligible to enter the draw. And so I'll do this afterwards. And just in case you didn't know and needed proof, Stigma Project at Victoria University, wellington.ac.nz, Supervisor, Dr. Hedwig Eisenbarth, Associate Professor in the School of Psychology, that being her email address. Yes. And, oh, how kind of them to do that. We'll open that over there. Yeah, so how kind of them. That is that. All done. Now, I will quickly switch over to full cam. I just realized something, everybody, and I do apologize. I have been getting some chats, but for some reason, over on my end, we'll quickly switch. For some reason, over on that mainstream page, they weren't coming up. I need to figure out why, and so that's probably a good reason that I'm restarting the stream. So sorry for those who commented and I didn't get to you, but quickly, Shadowban says, alright, the stream's going instead of that trash music. Nice. No need to diss the music like that. Hey, it's pretty good for copyright free, you gotta say. Wood chippers were made for a reason. I also somewhat agree, but as you can see, based on my stance on capital punishment and so forth, I don't really approve of that. But hey, that stigma, I'm absolutely fine with people having such strong views of that nature because protecting children is of the utmost importance. Now, how does someone understand the social abnormality of a behavior without stigma? Says, what is that? Is that Harold? So how does someone understand the social abnormality of behavior without stigma? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't know that it's bad or if there's no stigma around it, then you're more likely to act on it. And I even said this a few days ago. If we get to a point where everyone in society thinks it's completely normal to hold such views, then quite frankly, we're increasing the likelihood that they don't seek treatment, that they do act on them because, well, it's not a taboo subject. It's not a subject that people are genuinely repulsed by. It's not the types of thoughts that people express repulsion by. And as such, you don't think it's a bad thing. That's the fundamental problem, or one of the fundamental problems with this. So just a quick reminder, I am going to end the stream and then restart it pretty much straight away. So if you are watching and you do want to keep watching, I'll be a maximum of a couple minutes. And that'll be that. So thank you all for tuning into this section. Just to repeat, I am going to restart the stream so that we can reboot the TikTok. Hopefully it's not shadow banned again, or at least to revert the shadow banning on this occasion, and also to keep this subject away from the other subjects. This next stream isn't going to be too long. It'll be no more than an hour at most. So if you are looking forward to that, please stick around. In the meantime, thank you all for tuning into the finale of the stigma study. At least on my end, I might put out a video or two if more information comes out, and I may indeed post a bit more about it over on X, maybe TikTok, discussing where it's at, whether or not it is in fact being withdrawn as was suggested maybe last week. Nonetheless, I got all of these, and I'll also let you know if I win the Pretty card, because wouldn't that be absolutely hilarious? So thank you all for tuning. I'll be back in just a few minutes.